put this order of service together where I had to follow that. What is up with that? I guess it was me. Lots of love to all the parents that are here today. You'd be very proud of the young people that you have raised. So today I'm going to speak directly to our YOU graduates and our ministerial graduates that we're going to meet later. But I'm also speaking to everybody in this room who has ever had a dream and a vision and went after it and had to dig deeply to what was within them in order for that dream to be realized. Anybody who's in a dream right this moment, who has a vision of what can be, you're living in it. Follow the example of those that you have now celebrated, and follow their example of strength, of courage, of wisdom, of goodness, of tenacity, of perseverance, and everything else, 1,000 qualities that I cannot begin to even put out there today. Each one of us, everybody sitting in this room today is a graduate of one sort or another. You got up this morning, you graduated into a new experience. And if you're on a spiritual path, that new experience is as rich and beautiful as anything you can even and ever imagine. You have access to unseen, unknown powers. When you went after a dream, you grabbed it and you made it happen. Here at Unity, we call the power behind dream building and dream making God. And that God has many, many, many faces. Today, we acknowledge that God has the face of Mitchell, Katie, Liam, Ryan, Asha, Isabel, Raven, Nicholas, Averill, Julie, and Vataya. The presence of God is shining at Unity North beautifully, magnificently. And I behold, go ahead. We're going to go a little late. That's all right. I am, for the sake of time, going to stay clipped to my notes. I'm not going to wander too much so I can keep on task. I behold the presence of God, the face of God doing business as each and everybody in this front row, as those of you in this row. Where's Vataya? Where is she? Somewhere there. Okay, you're in the front row. You're good. And it's everybody in this room. Nobody in this room is broken. Nobody in this room is stained. Nobody needs fixing of any kind in this room. But we behold the magnificent Spirit of God that is doing business as you, and we will uphold you and lift you up. I'm already away from my notes. So I spent some time with the words graduates, graduating, and graduated. And I found, on the word graduated, I found exactly what I wanted to say today. Graduated is characterized by degrees, especially successively, as according to height, they've got that down, depth, or difficulty. Our graduates have completed, every one of them, a step up. They are standing a little bit taller. And let me tell you, they have persevered through some difficult times. So they're standing a little taller, but they're also standing a little deeper. They have grounded themselves in something that they have learned and grounded in YOU that will serve them for the rest of their life when they're as old as the rest of us. It will exponentially accelerate your spiritual growth. Hold on to the lessons that you've gotten here in YOU. Hold on to them. Pay them forward. Height. You're standing a little taller today, as you should. You are wired by design to feel a deep sense of accomplishment, a deep sense of pride and ownership. Not prideful, because that is of the human ego, but a sense of deep satisfaction and joy in the journey that you have accomplished. You're wired to have Sabbath and to have moments of peace and time. I'm not there yet, but they've already put it up there. They're trying to hurry me along already. On the seventh day, God rested and saw that it was all good. Not because this infinite presence of life needs to rest in any form, any shape at all, but because it is important to just stop, pause, breathe, and go, it's good. Life is good. What I have accomplished is good. You get pats on the back from outside of you, but I hope that you're giving yourself a pat on the back on the inside. I hope that you are acknowledging that you have accomplished something, and you are going to accomplish something, and it is to be acknowledged. So stand taller, but stand a heck of a lot deeper. You have diplomas on a wall now. You have pieces of paper on the wall that says you can be a minister. But my hope that the marks on that paper are surpassed tremendously by the marks upon your heart. Because those are the true diplomas, the ones that live in your heart. You'll have diplomas, you'll have pieces of paper on the wall. They are meaningless compared to who you have become in the journey. My hope and my prayer is that the mark left upon your heart radiates at such a level of depth that you know that you have now forever altered the direction of the course of your life in a positive, very positive way. That depth will be evidenced by every choice that you make from this moment forward. That depth will be evidenced by the choices that you make starting right now. Now, the last word on that graduated definition said difficulty. On the surface, it looks like you've just set yourself up for a whole bunch of hardship. That's not it at all. Rather, you have set yourself up for some more hard work. You have set yourself up for something incredible. And from the elevated and deeper view that you have afforded yourself, you're going to have more opportunities to grow. And that means more hard work. I hate to tell you, it's not going to be just a free ride. You're going to have to work maybe even harder than you've ever had to work. Those of you graduating into ministry, be warned. You thought seminary was difficult? Ministry is 10 times more difficult, and it is worth every single moment of it. The choices that you will make as ministers, the choice that you will make as graduates, are going to propel you into a greater experience of God, of humanity, of your own humanity than ever before. You see, one builds muscle by working hard. One builds virtuosity as a musician by working hard. You don't come by it necessarily just naturally. You have to work. There is a meeting of the inner talent, the inner planting of the seed that you have been given as incredible human beings, but you have to nurture that seed. When one works hard in good times as well as difficult times, something beautiful happens. Latent truths about yourself are suddenly revealed. Truths you didn't know about yourself are suddenly revealed, and dormant abilities begin to show up. You have given yourself, by the choices that you have made as graduates, the opportunity to demonstrate fully who you are. Don't cheat the world by playing halfway. Don't cheat the world, and don't cheat the work that you have put in to get to the place of graduation by now playing halfway. Give everything you are to it. You know, we've been studying a book here at Unity North, and that book is Greg Braden's Human by Design. And it basically says, a basic premise of that book is that when the human race appeared on this planet, everything we needed for success existed within us. Planted in it, the minute we were born, were all the skills necessary in order to live great lives. But we must be in partnership with that divine. The seed has been planted, but the seed must be nurtured. The seed must be tended. The seed must be in a garden of consciousness, of spirit, and of heart. You see, you're wired for greatness, but there must be a partnership with that wiring. And so I want to talk a little bit about what you are wired for. Everybody in this room is wired in a certain way, by divine law, by divine creation, to be successful. And I believe that these wirings are absolutely necessary for lives to be lived at the fullest. You are wired for compassion. Say that. I am wired for compassion. Together, I am. Sympathy and empathy are not something you need to be taught or that you will learn, although your parents tried really hard, I'm sure, to teach you those things. You are wired to become involved in other people's lives, to take that which you know, that which you are, that which you understand, and to pay it forward and to give it away, and that your greatest success will be in paying it forward. I look at my life as an example. I learned more as a foster parent than I ever did in any classroom. I learned more as a foster parent serving the lives of small young children than I ever did in a church. Don't let that keep you from coming. But the reality is, service is the highest form of prayer. Service to humanity is the highest form of knowing God. If you want to touch the hem of the garment, go do something for somebody else. You want more love in your life, go do something loving for somebody else. You want more prosperity, go give away your prosperity and live in the beautiful exchange of energy. It's the way you were created. And when you're not in a place of compassion, no matter the political scene, no matter the differences that are before you, no matter the person who comes into your ministerial office, you are wired to find compassion. If you can't find it, you are out of incongruity with the way you were created. The design of your very nature, your very soul. Service is how you're going to discover more of you. It's a great paradox. The more I do for others, the more I learn about myself. Let the education going forward from this moment beyond what you do to create a gentler, more compassionate, and beautiful world. That's what your graduation has afforded you, and it's going to take work because you're going to invite the people that show up in your office, that are going to show up at school, that are going to show up in your work environment, that are going to push every button you own. I know it firsthand. It is a graduate course in growth, but it is the way you are wired. Greg Braden says you're not wired to be survival of the fittest. You are wired as survival of the kindest. Survival of the most compassionate. Survivor of those who are most able to find tenderness in the midst of wanting to scratch somebody's eyeballs out. In the midst of a disagreement, those who will find compassion are the ones that are going to survive. You're also wired for wisdom. Let me tell you, the bank of wisdom in this row, and I've known many of these young people since they were in uniteens. I stand in awe of the wisdom that is represented in this row, and even more in awe of the ministerial graduates that teach me every time I have a conversation with them. But we're not talking intelligence here. We're not talking book learning. You have a lot of book learning. But you are wired for wisdom, that which is innately you, an intuitive faculty. You can call it the God, you can call it Joe. I don't care what you call it. You are wired for greatness by knowing that wisdom. And the great bodhisattvas, the Buddhist tradition speaks of bodhisattvas. These are people who have become enlightened. Do we have a picture of the Buddha up there? It's up there somewhere. You're bouncing around on me. You're trying to push me. There we go. You are bodhisattvas. And for your success, every one of you in this front row, there must be compassion and there must be wisdom in a great sense of balance. And you're going to come inevitably to the edge of your book learning. What you learned in high school and what you learned in seminary, you're going to come right to the edge and go, holy crap, it doesn't serve me. They didn't talk about this in history class. They didn't teach me this in geometry. That's when you get to go to the place of deep knowing that the presence of God is doing business as you. And you will call upon a wisdom faculty, and that wisdom with that compassion will give you the wings. My definition, my very loose definition of bodhisattva is basically ordinary beings who live extraordinary lives of service. Those whose focus has gone from me to us. That's the wisest thing you can do. From me to us. You are wired to live on the earth from a place of great winged partnership between your wisdom, which is profound, and your compassion, which is also profound and will be cultivated. Now you're wired for coherence. Now we can go ahead. Now they don't want to go ahead. You are wired for coherence. What does that mean? Every one of these graduates is wired for coherence. It means that we live in a system of divine law. You are designed to bring order where there is disorder. You are designed to bring peace where there is chaos. You are designed to bring light where there is darkness. And it doesn't matter if you've graduated from high school, from seminary, or you just woke up this morning into a new experience. You are designed to be that way. And when you are not bringing order into the universe, into the humanity, into the political system, into the church, you are out of congruity with your divine nature, your divine essence. Charles Fillmore talks about divine order and divine law. It's an essential part of your makeup. And that means the varied experiences that are about to hit your door. And I can tell you, I know the stories of many of these people. A whole lot of chaos hit the door of some of these people. And they handled it with grace. They brought order. Well, you had a little help from these people. But order was brought to chaos. Light was brought to darkness. And it wasn't easy. And I know for our graduates in the seminary, you had a tough hoe over the last 2 years. There was nothing easy about the job that you had to do while you were going through seminary, and you brought order and peace into the midst of chaos. You were living organically as the way you were designed. We are called to not go asleep. Don't go to sleep, but to know that the presence of God has put you onto this planet for a divine purpose. Live that purpose. Don't play small and cooperate with divine law. And Braden says you're designed by nature, wired to find solutions. And when the world tells you there is no solution, bring it. When the world tells you it's not possible, bring it. And when the world says it's never been done before, great. You be the one that brings it. You be the one that finds the solution to the problems. And let me tell you, we're walking into a world of a lot of problems that my generation has handed you. I'm not proud of what my generation has handed you, but I feel really confident that I can step back and go, it's in good hands. It's in really good hands because they are wired to do so. Now, let me get straight. There's also another partnership, two other wings that you're going to have. You were wired for hard work, which is your destiny, but you're also wired to have a good time. Please enjoy life. This is what Forrest Gump has to say. I'm going to invite you to read this with me. The great sage and prophet Forrest Gump said this, together, I don't know if we each have a destiny or if we're all just floating around accidental-like on a breeze. But I think maybe it's both. Your destiny is going to come from the hard work, but man, float. 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 I'm going to leave it right there. On the seventh day, God rested, and when it's good, God floated. God doing business as you needs to float. Enjoy the ride. You were wired to work hard. There's a Zen quote. I'm going to give this to my ministers full and completely. You all know it. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. Everyone, after enlightenment, chop wood. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed in life because you graduated. Nothing has changed because you now have a piece of paper on the wall that says, oh, you're a minister. Nothing has changed, but you have changed. And we hear it all the time. Gandhi said it, be the change that you want to see in the world. If you don't like what you're seeing out in the world, do something different. Think something different. Say something different. Be the first person at the front of the line that says, this is unacceptable in my environment. Amen. Stand in your strength and stand in your love because you have it in spades. Stand in the power of who you are and the love of who you are, and nothing can stop you from achieving your dreams. But the dream of the whole, the collective that is the human race, will be forever blessed by your service and your willingness to work hard. You are wired to choose. It all comes down to one thing. Everything in this unity movement comes down to one thing, and I hope that your sponsors and your parents have drilled this into your head, and I hope you will drill it into your own head when you're having to make choices. The grace of God is nothing more than choice. You get to determine your reality. The choices that you have made as graduates up to this moment have led you to this moment of celebration. Job well done. Float and enjoy the moment. But know that the choices that you're making today, everybody in this room, you were handed another day. You woke up. The choices you're making are determining what kind of life you're going to have tomorrow. Doesn't necessarily mean you're going to change the circumstances, but it means that tomorrow will be heaven or hell based upon the way you're looking at it, based upon the decisions that you're making in the level of your heart. Choose and choose wisely. You are wired to choose, intrinsically designed to make choice. Don't let anybody decide for you. Don't let anybody make the decision for you. Stand in your power and your strength. And don't let life happen by accident. You are not an accident. You weren't born by accident. You're not where you are by accident. You haven't had the experiences that you've had by accident. Don't stop now. Don't be an accident. And know that you were wired for love. Final one. One more slide, please. Look at that. I jumped ahead. See, I'm ahead of you now. You are wired to love. Plain and simple. You were created in the image and after the likeness of love itself. And when you're not living from a place, thinking from a place, operating and acting from a place of love, you're out of congruity with who you are. Plain and simple. I want to give you a Cherokee word. And that word is Shante Ishta. One more slide, please. Shante Ishta. Say that with me. Shante Ishta, which simply means the single eye of the heart. YOU has been a wonderful roller coaster. And I'm honored to be blessed to be in the stories of many of you when you were up here. And I was really, really blessed to be with you as we cried together when you were down here. I know that your sponsors feel the same way. I know that your parents probably felt like it was down here more than it was up here. It was up and down. Look at the journey that brought you to this moment with the eye of love. Not hate, not resentment, not anger. And as you move forward, look with the eye of the heart, because it is the heart that will determine whether your dream becomes a reality or not. It is not thinking your way through life. It is not forcing your way through life. It is the actions that come from looking with the heart. And if I could give one thing to everybody in this room today, it is the gift when you look with your heart, trust your heart, let that energy be propelled from your heart nothing can get in the way, because you were wired for success. You were wired for love. You were wired to succeed. We're going to take this into a moment of meditation right now, and we're going to have one of our YOU graduates come forward. Katie Cruz is going to come forward and to lead us in the meditation, and we have a song. Which song is it?
I follow my vision.
Follow my vision. Let this be a symbol as the music begins to play. Let there be a sacred vow and commitment as we honor our graduates to not just honor them, but to honor our own selves as people who have a dream, who have a vision, who have a goal, and are going after it with their whole heart, their whole mind, and their whole spirit. Take a deep breath with me. And on the exhale, release anything that would keep you from knowing that the dream is a reality and that you are wired to succeed.